Welcome, everybody, to Boredom Sated. I'm Michael.
And I'm John.
And now we're on video number 3 of our Dark Sun review and overview of the Prism Pentad. We're up to book number 3, which is the Amber Enchantress. This is probably my compatriot John's favorite book so far because it involves magic.
And Sadira.
And Sadira, yes. John has the
magic user for the Prism Pentad series, where she becomes pretty powerful in this book.
Yeah. She's a half-elf, we call it sorceress, but she's sort of on the edge between preserving and defiling. Let's give a very brief recap of what that means. In Dark Sun, energy from life gives you fuel for your spells. Preservers want to maintain the balance and not kill the plants and animal life. So they draw their power slowly from a lot of sources. Defilers, on the flip side of that, they don't give a crap. It's all about power, and they'll kill, aka defile, the land, destroying plant life, creating a radius of ash, animal life, whatever, in order to fuel their spells. Both of them cast around approximately the same type of spells, like any normal wizard, but it's the means by which they draw their power that makes them different. And either their protection or absolute disregard for other life forms that separates them. Sadira is taught the preserver way. However, like I guess a Jedi, preservers can also fall to the dark side and become defilers if they pull power too quickly and cause things to die. So, Sadira is now, in the beginning of this book, is heading towards the Pristine Tower to gain information and a possible way of defeating the dragon, whose real name is Boris of Elbe, the Butcher of Dwarves, back in the day. Now, she goes to try and find her, she eventually finds her estranged father who sold her to slavery way back when. Nice guy. He is the leader of the Sun Runners, who is the tribe that he belongs to. Now, the elves in Dark Sun all run. They don't ride on anything. They're runners. That's what they go through. Imagine every single one of them is a marathon runner. That's what they are. They're tall, lanky, and they run. They do like 20 miles a day. That's normal for them to run. If you can't keep up, well, you're food. They'll either eat you or they'll leave you to die. And they're often confidence. They're scam artists. They have the reputation that certain other real-life wandering peoples have in, like the gypsies have in Europe and Asia. Their reputation, anyway. So, anyway, Sadira is also being pursued by our friend Nock, the halfling chieftain, who created the Heartwood spear that almost killed Kalak in the Verdant Passage, the book 1 of the series. However, Sadira has another item, a staff, Kalindo's staff, that she utilizes for magic, that also belongs to Nock, and he wants it back. And during the first part of this book, Nock eventually finds her and they battle. And Sadira manages to survive this, but Nock gets turned into a tree, a living tree, by this. I'm sorry, he gets turned into a possible tree of life. And he manages to destroy the staff in the meantime. Nock is a very possessive individual, to say the least.
And meanwhile, all this is happening. Tithe, our great king of Tyr, is conspiring with Boris, the dragon, to become a sorcerer king. So he's already learning psionics. So he's tapping into the kank of Sadira so he can see what's going on, and give away positions and where she is. And obviously they want the book of Chemlock, right? And that has all the information about Boris and how he was created and Pristine Tower and everything. So, Tithian wants to become a Sorcerer King. He wants to be the next, Calac, basically, of Tyr.
Wants to replace Calac, not just in name, but in power as well.
Yep.
To rule for, well, technically forever.
Yeah.
Until he's until someone would kill him. Now, when Sadira meets up with her father, it's part by accident, but she gets involved a bit in the tribal politics of people who want her father gone in order to take over, and she finds out she has a half-sister, Raina. What was it?
Ryan.
And they get to conspiring against her father, and poison is involved, and there's a lot of backstabbing and little politics here and there on the way to the Pristine Tower. Now, one aspect of the Pristine Tower that hasn't been mentioned is that it's not just just a piece of architecture. This used to be Rajaat's, who was the first sorcerer's headquarters. This is where he creates his champions, who eventually becomes the Sorcerer Kings, and this is where Boris becomes the dragon in order to, that's a little more further along in the plot. That's get revealed later on. But let's just say this is a place of tremendous magical transformation. However, on the flip side of that, it's a place where if you get cut or wounded in any way, shape, or form within a certain radius of this tower, you start mutating violently. And in the tribe, the Sunrunner tribe, there's a elf by the name of Magnus, who is a wind singer, who's basically like a wind cleric. And he is he's an elf, a full-blooded elf. But you wouldn't notice it because he looks like the freaking Hulk. No, he looks like the Abomination. If you ever see the Abomination, that's what he looks like. He's big, brawny, he's built like a tank. No, he looks like the Thing. That's what he looks like. He looks like Benjamin Ben Grimm. He looks like the Thing, except no orange. He's all sort of gray with pointy ears, but he doesn't look like an elf in any way, shape, or form. Yet he is. The reason why is because he was born near the Pristine Tower. So with all that, blood and whatever it is, he mutated. So he's always been this way. But he becomes a valuable ally to Sadira and Rain. So that's the. Oh yeah, and they poison her father like a couple times.
Because her father knows where the Pristine Tower is.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to get that out of him, and he's just being, an elf.
Yeah, he's just being an a-hole. Then, of course, the Pristine Tower is relatively near to Nibide, the Shadow King's city-state. And so he gets wind of all this nonsense, and he decides to send his son, a fellow by the name of, I'm going to pronounce this incorrectly, I'm sure, Dhojak. It's spelled Dhojakt, so I have no clue how it's actually pronounced. Dhojak sounds good. Now this guy, because this guy is hideous. This guy looks like he belongs in like Gamma World or something else, because he's a half Cyclops. Now in Dark Sun they don't have horses. They ride generally kanks, which are giant ants, Erdlu, which are basically almost like prehistoric emus or ostriches, or lizards, big lizards. This guy is centauric. That means half of him is human or humanoid, and the other lower half, instead of regular two legs, he's got a Cyclops body. A Cyclops is a one-eyed centipede. Okay, it's a one-eyed centipede. Okay? It's large. It's like the size of a horse, something like that. So he's got lower body of I don't know how many legs, like 50 legs, whatever it is. The other half of him ain't much more pretty. The pictures are pretty hideous. He's nightmare fuel. Believe me, but he is one tough mofo. He's the son of Nibene. No one knows if he was mutated because he was born too near the tower or Nibene experimented on him. But he is Nibene's right-hand man, and he goes after Sadira to prevent her from getting to the Pristine Tower. and learning anything different.
Now remember that Nibene, at least at this time in the storyline, is the second most powerful dragon in the Tyr region. He is the next guy that has the highest level, as you say. Technically 23rd level if you're looking him up.
Yeah. He looks like a miniature version of the. Well, he looks more dragon than. Well, he's very draconic. He has a head that looks like a miniature dragon. He has a tail. He looks almost like a lizard man. He doesn't have the wings of a dragon yet, but he's on his way in the transformation as opposed to the others at this point. So eventually they do make it to the Pristine Tower, where they encounter the Shadow Giants. And from there, they managed to get past utilizing some obsidian orbs they managed to abscond and use it as a way of bargaining. And the Shadow Giants use the obsidian orbs to procreate. That's where they're young. They're almost like eggs. They need that as their egg, pretty much. However, for dragons, what do they use them for?
They use them for the to put all their energy and magic, especially the psionic enchantment, which is the 10th level of magic, as kind of a focus. And they focus all their energy into that orb. And each time they go up in a level of dragonhood, they have to make a new orb and then swallow it, and it resides in their stomach. So
they keep those orbs inside there. Now, Sadira eventually makes it up to the tower and learns that Rajaat utilized something, artifact, a massively powerful artifact known as the Dark Lenses. We finally get to listen here about the Dark Lenses, which will be very, very much important because the Dark Lenses, for the next two novels, I'm going to do a little foreshadowing, is probably the most powerful artifact on all of Athos. Because what it does is it's good for both magic and psychic abilities. It ultimately makes you literally 100 times more powerful than you actually are, if you can withstand it. It's like touching a hot plate in order to utilize its power. And Sadira learns that two dwarven knights hid the obsidian, the Dark Lenses, and that in order to defeat the dragon, she's going to need them. She's going to need the Dark Lenses. However, while she's there, once she gets past the Shadow Giants and discovers this, this wouldn't be Dark Sun without yet another betrayal. And her half-sister, Rain, tries to kill her. And during that, after managing to subdue her, and Rain doesn't survive the encounter, not because of Sadira, but I won't spoil it completely. Sadira gets transformed by the powers of the Shadow Giants into something different. Want to explain what that is?
She becomes a sun wizard.
Yeah.
Where she draws power from the ailing sun of Dark Sun.
Yes.
They've already really messed up that entire solar system, basically. So she now draws power in the daytime. She's jet black skin, has enormous power, ridiculous amounts. And then at night she turns back to normal. Where now she has to rely on her preserver/defiler ability. She's defiled a few times in this story. Yes. So she's already gone to the dark side. The Veiled Alliance has marked her as a defiler.
Yes.
But at the end, she becomes a sun wizard, and hey, she's too powerful to stop now, by the Veiled Alliance at least. And then, you can explain what the encounter at the end.
So the whole purpose of this, there's a ticking clock almost on her actions. There is a tithe that all the city-states have to provide every year. I don't know how they can provide it, considering the actual population of this whole tablelands isn't more than 100,000 people or something like that. and giving up 7,000 people a year is indicative of the extinction. I don't know how it survived as long as it has. I think 1,000 people is a bit much. Maybe 1,000 people total. But anyway. So Tyr's tithe hasn't been paid yet. It's overdue. And the dragon comes to each city to collect the 1,000 lives. You get a hint that this is not just because the dragon just wants to eat people. It's because the dragon actually serves a purpose. That tithe is used to keep a greater evil at bay. And because Sadira is, and the rest of the Aegis and Rikus are sort of interfering, the dragon personally comes over to try and, take the Tyr's tithe, 1,000 people. Now, in a very ridiculously heavily plot-armored nonsense, Sadira manages to not only fight off the dragon, but she threatens the dragon with destroying his obsidian orbs, which are inside of him, so he can't access his magic anymore. And in exchange for that, not collecting Tyr's levy, that's what it is. Basically, they threaten him so he doesn't get to take the levy that he's owed. And somehow this works, which is one of the stupidest things. I'm sorry, it really is dumb. But I don't know why he just didn't simply fly overhead and just breathe on them and kill them that way. Out of a million different ways he could have picked to kill them.
He needs them for a magic spell, right? Because he needs their life force to cast.
He doesn't. Not them. I'm talking about Sadira and everything. He could have blasted with his breath. Was amazing. His breath was scorching sand. It's not just fire. It's abrasive sand. It rips you to pieces. Yeah. Or he could just use psychic. None of them Aegis is no match for him.
Right.
He turned their brains to jelly in seconds. Remember when mentioning how powerful the dragon is compared to a regular psychic. Right. When a regular psychic hits you, it hits you. When he hits you, it hits everybody in the room. It hits everyone in the area. When he defiles, it kills everything in the area. He just needs to cast a spell away from them, and he would just kill them all. It's really a bit of plot bullshittery, but whatever. And of course, Tithe is again one of our favorite characters, the Starscream of Dark Sun. And at the end of this, with the dragon not collecting his tithe, and the hero somehow managing to win the day, at least temporarily, Tithian is back, and he's making a deal with the dragon.
And that he is going to deliver the tithe somehow, some way, to the dragon.
Yes.
For the knowledge of being a sorcerer.
Yes. And that closes the Amber Enchantress. It was an enjoyable novel. What do you give it? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Well, for the most part, it's a thumbs up, except at the end where, she jumps the shark and, I'm going to kill you, dragon, because I have some powers, and, hey, you're going to do what I say, and you're talking to the most powerful being in all of Athos, at least for now. And you'd think he'd have whacked her.
Yeah. I have to give it a thumbs up. I enjoyed the interaction with her father, the subplot of her tribe, and all the I always like the backstabbing politics. It's Dark Sun, plus it's elves, so you got it. And I always enjoy magical characters in general. And now that I've seen Dojak, I'm inspired to put him somehow. He is so ugly. I love it. It's one of those things that oh grief, that's so nasty. I want to use that again. But yes, I like how they are revealing bits and drabs of the lore and the history, the forbidden, just forbidden, but the lost history of the world. And it's a fascinating history. I wish they did Cooper novels based on that if Dark Sun line had continued a little bit longer.
Yep.
I'd love to see a whole series of books on cleansing wars, on each champion, on Rajaat, all sorts of wonderful things.
Yep.
But alas, maybe not. Maybe next time.
Well, the reason people kind of was, while the story was good in all 5 books, they didn't like it to be tied directly into the meta plot of the entire campaign world, where it moved it along. Where a lot of game masters don't want to move it along. They want the stuff like right after the first book, Verdant Passage, and then freeze it right there, and then introduce things very slowly. Here it went too quick.
They did. They definitely did. I completely 100% agree. Oh, the book, by the way, is a thumbs up. But I basically the whole 5 book series. I'll spoil it for a 30-year plot. When the books began, the first book began, the Dark Sun campaign setting, the box set, was brand new. It hadn't been even a year, and you're already setting up this world with books, and then suddenly you have this novel series, which is supposed to be canon with the basic storyline, and within 2 years you literally toss up the entire background in the air. And it was a lot of people gave pushback back then, or there was a backlash, and they didn't enjoy that. Probably that led to the downfall of the series. If they had left this book, if they had made this book like maybe 6 or 7 years down, maybe 5 or 6 years down the line, like instead of 1992, something like that. If they had pushed it down 1997, 1998, after they had like about 20 books or something like that to flesh out the series, flesh out the lands, and then give people time to absorb the lore, then do this, okay, I think they would have had the Dark Sun books line would have gone straight into 3rd edition. Instead, we didn't even get anything from 3rd edition at all. Ravenloft got it, but then Ravenloft's plot line isn't really. There's only one big thing in Ravenloft. That's a subject for another video. But that was the Amber Enchantress. Our reviews is it's generally very positive, a good addition to the Prism Pentad line. It definitely moves the plot forward, and it was a good read. So that's it. So, well, just like in all our videos, if you liked it, if you enjoyed our video, hit a like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and we'll see you next time. I'm Michael.
And I'm John, and we'll see you in the next one, the Obsidian Oracle with Agus, the Master of the Way.
The Unseen Way, yes.